This side Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. Today, standing off 8th of June 2019, we are shooting another video about another structured derivative, which is liability driven derivatives, shortly known as LDD. Liability driven derivatives are originated from a technique in the pension fund industry which is known as LDI, liability driven investments. And pension fund alongside the hedge funds, alongside the broker dealer networks are the largest, of course the interbank, are the largest users of the Quanto derivatives. But before starting off this video, I would like to put few facts about the Quanto derivatives before you, then in that I start this video. You know, there are many people, those who coming to me and saying that you should restrict yourself to your presentation, you should do this, I wanted to ask one question from you. Only one question from you. Tell me, why don't you raise your questions to CFA, who is not teaching these concepts to the people and charging several $100, $1,000? Why don't you raise this question to GARP, who is charging several $1,000s and not giving that knowledge to your kids? And why you not asking this question from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, CFA, multiple institutions, those who are charging several lakh rupees and giving nothing to your kids? If you thinking that I will close my voice, then forget. It will never happen. Voice would be loud every passing day. I repeat in English, if your English is weak, voice would be loud every passing day. Okay, let's start. Now, when it comes to the such kind of derivatives which is known as the pension fund derivatives, I would like to have a very good clarity about the pension fund derivatives. First of all, who are pension funds? In pension funds, we have two things. One is known as the asset gap, one is known as the liability gap. Now, asset gap days are over. History, mystery. Asset gap means when the valuation of your asset or the present value of your asset is much greater than the present value of your liabilities. These days are 110% over. You please visit any pension fund, take your time, let me know if you have any. We are living in a world of liability gap when the present value of the asset is much lesser than the present value of the liabilities, and the end result is that pension fund is always having a headache that, boss, I have to pay more what I own. The reason is today the liability gap is at $3.5 trillion. I repeat, $3.5 trillion. And $1 trillion is 1,000 billion and 1 billion is 1,000 million. The total number of zeros you yourself can compute. And this figure which I am quoting is a 2017 figure. I do not have the latest figure with me because the latest report is not in the public domain, which do confirms that such figures has to be that what is the present figure of this so-called $3.5 trillion. Is it reduced to 3 trillion? Is it 0 or is it 6.5? But considering the information, the limited information which we have in the public space, it does suggest that this gap has increased to more than 4 and somewhere 4.5 as well. I'm not quoting the name, you do your research yourself. Pension funds are the heavy users of the Quanto derivatives. At the same time, one important thing which pension funds also facing is the currency risk. There are many intelligent people which we have worldwide which believes that the pension fund is just like an organization who invest in equity, who invest in the benchmark curve, who invest in the treasury curve, generates a return, give this return to the people. If there is a liability gap, the government has come and bail you out. You know which pension fund department I am talking about. Absolutely sorry. This is now the pension fund works. Pension fund face humongous risk. They face the risk of duration. They face the risk of convexity. They face the risk of concavity. They face the risk of immunization. They face foreign exchange risk. They face derivative risk. They face almost every kind of risk which they are facing. Almost every kind of risk which they are facing. But the hard reality is that unfortunately, even the best pension funds of the globe are not equipped completely to handle the risk, because they are right at their part, which is that the risks are growing at a much faster pace versus the in-house capability of that pension fund to take that risk. And because of that, I was talking to a pension fund maybe I think 3-4 weeks ago in Singapore. During a lunch time, we had a lunch together, and he told me that, Rahul, the total amount and the quantification of the derivative has increased to a level, alongside machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT and all these things, that the infrastructural capability of the pension fund is not even 1/10 of what it should be. And henceforth the result is we are not in a situation to give the return which people are expecting. Everything is not terminal, everything is not Reuters, not Bloomberg. And I absolutely agree with that. Today the derivative which we are posting would talk it about a very good derivative which would able to cover the Quanto impact. Now here we go. We assume that the bank we are hedging is the Chase London. Treasury Consulting will again take an indemnification that the numbers which we are quoting, is absolutely the examples which we are quoting is only for the sake of examples. It has no realistic resemblance. In case of realistic resemblance, it's just a coincidence. It's just for the sake of examples. So you have bank which is Chase, you have counterparty which is BlackRock, you have period which is 12 months, you have notional which is step up, which I would explain, you have payoff which is Quanto, you have premium which is 46k. This time I have deliberately priced a derivative with a 46k, approximately 46,000 GBP worth of premium, because the deal size which I am taking is covering 1.4, 3.4 and approximately $3.6 million. So if I divide this, then that tend to amount to 1.27%. So out of the total deal value, the premium which we paying is just 1.27%. So behind every GBP, we are paying only 1.2 GBP or 1.28 GBP as a premium. That is why I kept this premium, because I have to make. In the earlier video, I said that it is a zero premium. No, this time it is not a zero premium. So whenever it is a zero premium, we clarify it. Whenever it is not a zero premium, we will not clarify it. Here we go. So what makes it Quanto come 5 minutes late? First is a buy call. So first of all, there are two counterparties here. The first counterparty is of course the BlackRock, which is a pension fund. Need not to explain what BlackRock is. Buy call means the import side. BlackRock having right to buy GBP from Chase. Who is Chase? JP Morgan Chase. At an agreed rate. Buy put, which is a sell side. BlackRock having right to sell to Chase at an agreed rate. Who is Chase? Need not to explain. Sell call, here buy put, BlackRock having a right, but in sell call, BlackRock having an obligation. Quanto we will tell after 2 minutes. You need to wait for that. The scene in the change in the scene in this derivative instrument is that the previously explained derivative instrument was European, whereby you need to wait. You can cancel. There is no doubt about that. You need to wait for 12 months, and after 12 months you can only settle this. But here I have priced American derivative, and American derivative is a derivative which can be exercised anytime. Is that a right statement? Absolutely shit. Absolutely shit. The so-called books are suggesting that American derivative can be exercised at any point of time. No, the right line is American derivative can be exercised any day or any working day at the time of the fixing. But what is being taught in the so-called degrees, in the so-called B schools, is American derivative can be exercised anytime. Wow. You mean to say the market start at 9 a.m., market wind up in New York at 5 p.m. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I can exercise anytime. Then where is the bank, sir? How the bank would be covering in the interbank? Where is the slippage? How the interbank coverage would happen? Correct me if I am wrong. American derivative is a derivative which can be exercised at any point of time. However, we need to agree that this exercise only happen as at fixing date, as at the fixing it's coming. Since we are talking about GBP, so the non-deliverable is out of scope. It is completely out of scope. The only thing which we have is the deliverable. In this deliverable, GBP dollars are generally settled on a fixing which is 10 a.m. New York. Now you need to see that 10 a.m. New York, East Coast, West Coast, there are so many timelines so that you need to check. Okay, that is why I wrote that it is 10 a.m. New York deliverable. So I repeat, BlackRock is having a currency exposure. At the same time, they have a different currency exposure. Rather than taking a two different concept, they are taking one trade which is known as Quanto trade. We name this as which is coming from LDI, which is liability driven derivative, LDD, GBP dollar Quantos. But the point of the case is that we price this accordingly that the total premium coming out to be the GBP 46,000, and which is coming 1.27% of the total deal. So behind every 100 GBP, the BlackRock is paying approximately 1.28, 1.27 something GBP. Okay, here we have four legs. One is buy call, wherein BlackRock have the right. Let me write here so that you don't forget. Buy put, again BlackRock having the right. Sell call, BlackRock having an obligation. These all are three American derivatives which are deliverable. However, the scene comes here, that is why it is known as Quanto, whereby BlackRock is taking a buy call. Welcome to the world of foreign exchange derivative. In this, they have the right to buy what? Dollars, not GBP. The quantum is 500,000 and it is European. Quantum is 500,000 and it is European. Quantum. And the rate agreed is 0.78. So $1 is 0.78 GBP. At the same time, this is 10 a.m. New York deliverable European, not American. So before reading any books or before taking such heavy degrees, ask three questions from your side before we go to pricing. Number one, what we are reading is right thing? Is the so-called Investopedia, Wikipedia, CFA, GARP, all these courses, B schools, are they giving us the right stuff? Or we are joining the herd. Herd means collection of sheep. We are joining the herd who himself do not know where are we heading. We're just joining the herd. Did you ever notice that why the size of the herd is too big? Thousands and thousands of sheep are in the same herd. Only because the herd, when one sheep starts, she is directionless or he is directionless, joined by another sheep, joined by another sheep. The size continues, and after a few months, maybe a few weeks, whatever, you get to know that the total size of the herd is 500,000. Where are they heading? We don't know, but they are heading. That's it. You are a herd or not? You need to take up a call. Here we go. Let's have Tokyo. Sorry, my mistake. Let's have fixing. and here I take 4 fixings in the interest of time, or I take 3 fixings in the interest of time. So the first fixing I take 1.28. If I take GBP as 1.28, it effectively meant that 1 divided by 1.28, which is 0.78, that I need to calculate, that I calculate there. 1.28. Would would BlackRock buy from Chase at 1.33 when the market is at 1.28? Worthless. In our parlance, worthless. Would they be selling at 1.38 if the market is at 1.28? Absolutely. And this is known as plus 10 big figures. One big figure is 100 basis point. Remember that. 1.3800 minus 1.28, which is 10 big figures into 1 million, which is $100,000. Let me write here. Okay. Here we go. Sell call. Would Chase be buying from BlackRock at 1.24 if the market is at 1.28? Absolutely. Minus 4 big figures of loss, and here the loss would be roughly $80,000. Let me compute again so that no mistake happen. $80,000. Okay, here we go. The fourth, the Quanto piece. Would BlackRock be buying at 0.78 when is 1.28, which is 0.7825? You need to reciprocal that. I hope I need not to guide you. That, of course, they would be buying that. So this is $625. I hope I need not to correct that, need not to comment that. Somewhere $20,625 would be the gain. Let's take 1.32 as a case. Would Chase be buying? Would BlackRock be buying at 1.33 if the market is 1.22? Definitely not. Worthless. Would they be selling at 1.38? Absolutely. It's a 6 big figures, boss. Now 6 big figure means somewhere $60,000. Would Chase be selling, would be buying at 1.24 if the market is at 1.38? Oh sorry, if the market is at 1.32, why not? Chase would be doing that. That would be 8 big figures. So that is 1.32 minus 1.24 to 2 into 10 to the power 6. This is $1,60,000. And here 1 divided by 1.32, which is 0.7575. Would they be doing that? No. Worthless. The last piece, which is the realistic case, 1.23. As GBP heading for 1.23 now, and being an American option, BlackRock having the right to exercise at any fixing date. So what would, if GBP hit 1.23, would they be buying from Chase? No, that is worthless. Would they be selling? It is 1.38. 1.38 minus 1.23 into 10 raised to the power 6. So total $150,000 of gain. Okay, and would Chase be buying at 1.24 when the market is 1.23? Definitely not. And last, 1 divided by 1.23, 0.81. Would they be buying at 0.78? Definitely yes. Roughly $1,650. And the net gain is right up front. What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is very clear. Pension funds are facing a lot of risk. But at the same time, pension funds can only be survived provided they have the infrastructure capabilities to execute foreign exchange deals in a right way. Do they have the infrastructure capabilities to execute that? Yes. But at the same point of time, they need to understand one thing, that the days of same notionality are over. We need to execute a trade when the notionality is not same. Look straight. Buy call notional 400,000 GBP. Buy put 1 million. Sell call 2 million. Buy call European reverse Quanto 500,000. We first need to understand very importantly that the days of same notionality are over. We are living in the time when we need to learn the non-same notionality, which in our parlance is known as step up. If we do not know this, we are inviting the trouble. With this, Treasury Consulting would like to thank you very much, and at the same time would like to let all the banks know that we are coming up with our bespoke derivative desk. It doesn't matter to us what is the feedback of ours you have in your mind. It doesn't matter to me what is the feedback of the few people in the few countries about me in their mind. Treasury Consulting would be a bank by 2024. But before winding up this video, I would like to take another 5 minutes of yours about an emotional message which I received just now. And I am not going to reply to this message, you will reply to this message. Just give me another 1 minute. So I got a message just now, 5 minutes before. Okay, I will not share the name and the number because that is something we don't do. So his name is XYZ and he is from whatever XYZ bank. He is saying to me that I am this from this bank. I watched your video and I would like to ask one important thing. I am from a middle class family and I do not have much money with me, but I am working in a middle office of that bank. After watching your video and checking with the CFA Institute books, I got to know that none of the derivatives which you taught is in the CFA books. I again checked the FRM books and got to know that they are not even in the FRM books as well. At the same point of time, I am from a middle class family and do not have the money to have such I would say the costliest training programs or something like that. Please suggest me how the people like you and me pursue their career, or we are moving as a jobless people. I would like to wind up this video with one request. Answer these people. And if you get 5 minutes of time, just 5 minutes of time, just open any university syllabus and see that universities, institutes, B schools, they together decided that now we have one objective in place, which is how to spoil the career of youngsters together. I would like to ask one thing. What do you expect from BlackRock? Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan Chase, Standard Chartered, bank list is very long. You want them to train you after you pass out from the business school on these derivative instruments, and then while training they give you the salary, and after training they give you the salaries, and then even after training they're not sure whether you understood or not. Or you want to pass out from the MBA institution oblique whatever degree, that once you pass out you will go to BlackRock, Blackstone, Goldman, Chase, Standard Chartered and all the banks and say, I know what you want. With this, Treasury Consulting would like to thank you very much, and I have another good news for you before winding up this video. That good news is that today IBM fired 2,000 people, and as usual they have the standard excuse that after the appraisal cycle we got to know that these 2,000 people are not competitive in nature. Volkswagen, IBM, banks, institutions, everyone is firing. Let me know who is hiring. Thank you, and keep reading that, keep understanding one fact that there are only two kind of options, which is call option and put option. Such kind of structures do not exist. Have a good time. See you soon. Thank you.